Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft Amplified server. It is that time again and I am all decked out in my shiny new gear. And many of you are asking me last episode, why is it that I didn't use this in the Wither fight? We spent all that time getting geared up for it. Well, the thing is, I just kind of realised that it wasn't going to be a lot of fun. It was going to be way too easy. There would be no risk of dying or anything like that. And with 6 of us, it would just be a one-way fight, really. So we decided to use iron armour, and we died a couple of times. Had a lot of fun. It was great to do a little group event with the other hermits. And we're going to try and do that more often, actually. I'm going to try and make it so every other episode or so we get together and do some fun things together. But in this episode, we're going to be by ourselves. That doesn't work, does it? By myself with you here doing a little episode on the server. So what we're going to be doing is making use of this beacon that we got, and this thing is going to be kind of transported around from place to place, I think. But luckily, you know what's in here? We have loads and loads of gold blocks to build the beacon out of, which is fantastic because I do not have a lot of iron left over. So that worked out really, really well. I'll probably set up a few beacon bases around the place and then I'll move the beacon around with me, and it's going to enable us to do certain things. So the first thing that we're actually going to do is a little bit of mining. I'd like to go and set it up over at the slime farm and do a bunch of strip mining over there with an efficiency 5 pick, which I do not have. And I was looking at perhaps combining this with a book to get efficiency 5. And we've got this book right here, and it kind of cancels out the other effects. We'll go up there and have a look at that. The thing is, though, because I've died, I've got hardly any XP, and we're going to have to make a trip to the Nether to do some enchanting. I also need to enchant a whole bunch of books as well. I think I put those in my ender chest. So this one's got power, fire protection, and fortune, and all of those get cancelled out. And I was just wondering if this cost right here would affect the repair cost, and I just wanted to do a little bit of experiment and see what happens when we turn this one up to efficiency 5. But we need more books. We need more than just the one. I'd like to get an efficiency 5 building pick as well. So we're going to have to go to the Nether and do a whole bunch of enchanting at the farm. And we've done a lot of that lately, so I'm not going to drag you through that again. You know exactly what we're going there for. I've got a few books left over, so let's head out. And I seem a little bit unlucky lately. One of the things that I do here on the server is I constantly breed the cows, and for the last 3 or 4 days that I've been on here, I've been breeding the cows and forgetting to harvest them after. I get their numbers up so there's like 100 of them, and they're doing all that crazy derpy stuff over there in the pen, and every time I come back on there's always like a few left over and have to breed them up again. So another thing we might do is actually make our own personal little cow farm and just breed them to ridiculous numbers, which is always fun to do, and then we can slaughter them which is a bit mean, and get ourselves loads and loads of leather, because we're going to be doing loads of book enchanting, I think, while we still have the farm. Of course, it's going to get patched in the future. Is this the melon and pumpkin? I know I'm spoiling something here. I was going to build these at some point. I forgot about that. I was like, right, on every server we've always done the pumpkin and melon towers, and it looks like actually Mumbo's handled it this time, and I'm cool with that because it looks awesome. And this, by the way, is an old farm design. It's one of my favourite ones that I ever came up with. It was when I think melons and pumpkins have been in the game for a little while, and I was just looking at ways to harvest them, and I had a little eureka moment. It was like, vertical is the way to go, because look at it, it's awesome. It's a tower and all the things drop down into the middle. I'm going to link that in the description box. If you've never seen my tutorial for that, go and check it out. It was one of the landmark builds on the first Hermitcraft server. Everyone really liked it when it came out, and I've always been quite proud of that. But anyway, right, let's head to the Nether. Let's do this enchanting. Time for me to stop rambling, and I guess I'll probably meet you over at the slime chunks when we're ready to do our speed mining. And we're back from doing our enchanting. It went alright. It took a little bit of time because the farm broke again. That piston and that slime block, they keep disappearing, which is no good, but we did get our efficiency 5 enchantments, which is excellent. So this one right here was the one that I combined with the book that had all the other enchantments. Those ones didn't affect the cost at all. It's just the same as this one over here, which is good stuff to know. So 2 efficiency 5 picks, that means that we can do some speed mining like we used to do on the previous server. Now what I'm going to do this time around is actually just go in straight lines. I'm not going to do the poke holes, just felt like doing something different. And I don't know how much of this we're going to get done, and I've just realised that I've done all of this wrong. There should be 3 blocks between each one. That's kind of a waste. I'll sort that out in a moment, but we're just going to go off as far as the beacon range goes and then come all the way back again and light the whole thing up as we go. And that way we should get tons of resources and also find different cave systems in this area. You know, we might find a few entrances, which is a good thing because we want to get this slime farm working over time, and hardly any slimes spawn in here, which is really disappointing. But you can see in the middle here I've set up our beacon, or at least the beginning of it, and on the last server we always made our beacons out of iron, and I forgot how pretty and nice gold is to look at. It's a really cool texture, one that's kind of difficult to build with, I feel like, but I think I'd like to try and make use of this block more on the server, because obviously we have tons of the stuff. But there you go, we made ourselves a golden beacon. It looks really cool, and right as I finished making it I realised there was something that I hadn't really thought about, and that is that the beacon beam needs to go all the way up to the sky. So we have to dig all the way up here, and do you know what I think is going to be above us? A massive mountain. So what I thought I'd do is hit F3, get the coordinates, and go all the way up to the top of there on the outside, and just dig straight down all the way down to here. Now hopefully there won't be any of those mini lava lakes above me. If there is, I've got a potion of fire resistance, but that is the plan. We're going to place down the beacon beam, and then I'm going to start doing this mining. So I guess I'll be back with you soon when I've got some progress to talk about. And it's one of those moments again where we need to take a step back and look at the terrain right here. Not the most spectacular of views, but it is pretty crazy, especially loads of those floating islands over there. But of course the beacon beam would have to be under one of the biggest mountains. There's also a nice view over here as well, and I absolutely love the render distance turned up to 15. It's absolutely awesome, gives you a real sense of scale. Wow, that is a sheer drop right there, and I see a bed. That might actually be Biffa's area. I think he has a little enclosed area somewhere around here. But if we head back in this direction, you can actually see the Hermit Hills area. I hope we do call it that. You can see full symmetries, base on the side there. You can see my little wizard hat base thing right there, and I don't know who that is actually up on the top. I think that might be Topmas. But anyway, this is where the beacon beam came out, and I'm pretty sure there is an overhang here, or maybe a little lower down there is. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to start digging down. So nice view from up the top here, and it's going to take me a while to dig down because we are 184 blocks up in the sky. Crazy stuff. Well, it's taken me just under an hour, and this is proof that this is the way to do things. Check it out. Look at that, 42 diamond ore. That's absolutely amazing for under an hour's work. We also got 7 diamonds. They were, of course, diamond ores that I broke accidentally. And we got more diamond ore than we did gold, which I think is a sign because we already have plenty of gold. So we're doing things right. We got tons of iron, redstone, and a little bit of lapis. And on a couple of occasions that I came back here, there were some slimes. So we got some slime balls, but unfortunately not as many as I would have liked to have found. And you know what? The entire time I was doing that, I was hoping to break into some cave systems that, you know, unexplored, so I could light them up, and I didn't find one. And there is a slime. Let's go and kill it right now. Oh yes, there we go. These guys are really rare, it feels like, in 1.8, and I've been reading your comments, and it feels like a few of you who are playing on servers are having these same problems as well. So do let me know if you are. I guess if a lot of us are, then maybe there is something up. I do know that they changed the spawning for these slimes in 1.8. They just seem to feel super rare. But there we had one spawn right as I was recording, which was pretty cool. So there's one more thing that I wanted to mention about this. We're actually only half done here. Now if you picture it in your mind, we can go for 50 blocks in each direction. That's the range of the beacon, and that range is a square. So where we've gone out in each of these paths like this, what we can now do, and we'll go over here and use this one as a demonstration, is go across on this side like this. So we can go down every like 3 or 4 blocks and then go off in that side as far as the beacon range goes. So that means we've kind of covered half of it. We've done you know, these 4 bits, and then there's 4 more quadrants in the corners. So we'll come back here and do that again, is what I'm trying to say. There is one more thing that I want to mention before we move on to the next thing. That is that UHC Season 5 has started. There's a link on the screen and in the description box if you do want to check it out. I just wanted to mention it and let you know what this season was about. This time round what we decided to do is to split up into 2 teams but be separated from our teammates. So we had to go around the world and look for each other, and only when we, like, you know, face to face standing there, we could say hello and then go into TeamSpeak in the same channel. And it was really exciting. I had a lot of fun, and I think you'd enjoy it as well. So be sure to check that out if you're interested. But otherwise, we are now going to move on to something else. Oh my, that is absolutely amazing. I was just chatting to Slipgator. I thought, you know what, I've got loads of this diorite, I'll go and bring it over to him because he's doing something wonderful over here, and you can really see where this is going now. This is going to be a spectacular structure when it's finished. This guy, man, he really knows what he's doing when it comes to building, I've got to say. Yeah, Town Hall. It looks absolutely spectacular, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm going to drop this over to him and have a look from up there as well. It's looking really good. I've got to say, that is really impressive. Well, you get up to the top and it gets even more impressive. I think Slipgate has really outdone himself here. This just looks fantastic. The amount of quartz he's using as well is ridiculous. And this right here is our town hall meeting area, I guess. It's going to be spectacular standing up of here. Feels very I don't know what the word is for that sort of stuff, but like something out of Lord of the Rings, you know, where all the wizards would meet and have their little meeting around a grand table. That's another thing. There's probably going to be some details to come along with this, you know, furniture and stuff in this area. And there he is down here. He's doing a fantastic job. I'm going to go grab some quartz for him as well, actually, because he's put a lot into this, and I've got quite a bit of quartz saved up, so I'm sure he could do with that. Hey! So the next thing that we are going to be doing is a little bit of travelling. I've noticed that a few people have set up their own kind of base areas in and around these hills, and I think it was in maybe the first or second episode we came across an area which I thought would be pretty ideal for a base, and I've since been thinking about that. Now I don't want to start my own personal base anytime soon, but I would like to kind of reserve the area just in case someone else goes over there. I'd like to save it for the future because I've had lots of ideas about things to do over there. So the next thing we're going to do is just travel over there and kind of mark the place. I'm going to put down some markers, some signs saying, you know, this is Asuma's area, and also hook up a nether portal as well, which I've just finished doing. I put one in the nether in the correct place because I was smart and I took a screenshot with the coordinates of the place, and it is at around 850 I do believe, and then on the Z coordinate it's around 250. So we've got to travel a fair distance from here to get there, but then once we've made it over there we can set up a nether portal and then we've got easy travel back and forth. So that's the plan. I'm going to go over there and I'll report with you on what I'm going to do when we're over there, because I'm thinking about perhaps clearing out the area, you know, cutting down all of the trees and just making it obvious that I'm going to build there in the future. So anyway, I'll be back with you in a moment. Well, I am really gutted. I've just gotten over here and I've found out that someone else has beaten me to it. There is some plants and there's some torches down here. But what I can't believe is what's going on down here, because this is the idea that I had. I had some inspiration. I thought, do you know what? We could chop down all of these trees and just put glass underneath the water and build a base just slightly underneath the water in the middle of all of these mountains. And actually someone else has come over here and done the exact same thing. I don't know who this is. I'm going to go and have a little bit of an investigate down here to find out who's set up here. But I guess great minds think alike. Perhaps it's just the area that we're in kind of inspires similar ideas. This lava down the bottom here is crazy, and there's already a nether portal, which is really strange because I didn't find one in the area that I set one up in the nether. So I was going to do that for this person anyway, you know, hook up the nether portal, say hey, you can move it if you want, but I put one on the other side of the nether. So that's really unfortunate. I'm going to double check this is the place. I'm pretty sure, like, look at our coordinates, it's 60 blocks. Well, actually it's 60 and 100. I think I was just around the corner from here, and maybe that's something I could still do, you know, but I'm not 100% sure anymore. So let's go around this corner. I think that's where I originally found this spot. So this is more like the spot just around here, and it's night time, so I've probably edited the video to make it a little brighter. It was this cove over in this corner that I was most interested in though, because the hills really come around, and digging all of this away and turning it into a swamp would have been a fun little project. So that is really unfortunate. I guess we're not going to make a decision about where our base is for now. Maybe we could go over here if this person didn't mind. I don't know who it is. But another thing that I liked about this area is that we had the witch hut. You know, having your own personal witch farm would be really cool. And there's quite a few of them on this server. So maybe there's another location that's going to be similar. Perhaps that's something we could do right now. I could do a little bit more exploring. I have a map of the world on a mist, and there's quite a few swamp biomes. And they're probably going to have a similar vibe because, you know, on amplified terrain, all of the different biomes around the swamps are going to be amplified, and then they're going to rest in the middle. So there's probably going to be quite a few places like this. So I think that's what I should do next. Have a little investigate and see if there's any similar locations. So I'm on my camera account at the moment, exploring the world. There are a few locations, and I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, because I didn't want to go too far away from the Hermit Hills area. You can see this is 1,000 blocks away, which is quite some distance, you know. But what I really wanted to take advantage of was that witch hut. But also, now that I've had these ideas about an area like this, I just really want to work in here. When I look at this, I can see, you know, terraforming that could be done in the middle. I can see, well, some things I don't really want to talk about, especially with these hills over here. I've got some fantastic ideas for stuff we can do inside of those that we'll get to later on in the series. I've been building up a list of ideas and things that I want to do. In fact, if you have any ideas for any crazy projects or just things you want to suggest or talk about, then feel free to leave a comment. I do read them, and I'm looking to build up a list of ideas because I want to do lots and lots of crazy projects here on the server. So any ideas you want to share is going to help make this series and this season just so much more fun with the amount of things that we can do. But anyway, I'm going to continue flying around, and I think I'll update you on each area. This one is absolutely gorgeous, and I can see some really cool things that we can do here, but most importantly it has a witch hut as well. And I've looked at the map on a mist, and unfortunately not as many of them have witch huts as I thought there were. So anyway, we're going to go around and check out all of the potential locations one by one. So here is our second location. This is probably the prettier side of it, however I don't think this is going to be that ideal. There's no witch hut here. The body of water in the middle isn't really big enough for a base, at least I don't feel like it is. And also the cliff faces in and around this area aren't quite big enough. For the project that I have in mind one day that we will do in the future, we need some very big and very vertical cliff faces, which is what the other one had. But this one right here I don't think is quite as big. And then over here you got this snowy biome as well. So this is another little location on the server. This one is 1,800 and 1,500, even further away from Hermit Hills, so I don't think this is going to be a suitable location. So location number 3. This is an interesting spot here on the server, and I gotta say it feels really inspirational, this area. It's just absolutely gorgeous, this scenery that we have here on Amplified. However, I don't feel this is an ideal spot for a base, but we'll talk about this area. First of all, it does have a witch hut, which is a good thing, but the swamp area in the middle is very big, as you can see, and there's a lot of interesting landscapes around here. So over on this side we have this lovely mesa biome that's got a really nice cove right here. I think if you were into, you know, lots of organic building and perhaps like pirate ships and that kind of style, you could really do something very cool over here, that's for sure. But as we go around the corner you can see it kind of changes over to some extreme hills, and there's actually a little bit here which would be perfect for something that I've talked about already, those big vertical cliff faces. Except this one right here is a little bit skinny for the project I had in mind. It needs to have a bit more bulk and space to it, but that looks really, really nice from the front there. But this is all just too spaced out. There's also like a roofed forest over here, which I think looks really pretty, but this is just too big for an area for a base, I think. So although this one is nice, I don't think I'm going to be considering it. And at the moment, the first location we went to seems to be the nicest, but we have a few more places to go to first. So I went to a couple more locations, and I think, you know what, we'd seen the best of it straight away. Those other ones were nowhere near as interesting, and this one being actually fairly close, having a witch hut, having the right, you know, scenery around it. It just felt like this was the perfect spot, and so what I want to do is put my claim on this area. We have a portal. What I'm going to do is chop down all of the trees in the swamp area here so it's nice and clear, and then we can put some markers in the middle so someone can come along and clearly see that this area is taken. But I gotta say, looking around at this area, I am inspired. I think when we get round to doing our base in the future, we are going to have an absolutely lovely opportunity to do something special around here. So I will get to work. We'll have a quick look at this place before we leave, but I'm looking forward to getting this done because we haven't even, you know, started on what I actually wanted to do for the bulk of this episode. So I'll be back with you in a moment, and then we'll move on to something else. Well, it's got to be said, this area isn't quite the same without all of the trees. They actually were pretty pretty, I think. Pretty pretty. They were very nice and natural looking, but they were going to go eventually, so it's done, and it looks pretty cool. We've got some gorgeous views of the mountains over here. This place is really spectacular. But while I was over here, I was very tempted to do some more recording, but the thing is, we are really getting into this episode, and there was more that I wanted to do. But I was fighting a ton of mobs at night, which was a lot of fun. You can see we've got some valuable items down here, especially the slime balls. There were loads and loads of slime spawning, and a few endermen as well. So we got some valuable materials over here while doing this, which is cool. And my armor took a little bit of a beating. There were lots and lots of skeletons. So as well as chopping down all the trees, I put down a few markers as well. You might be able to just see one behind the witch hut over there. There's just a few of them around the place at the natural entrances that just say Asuma's area. And then we got this ugly thing in the middle. The portal spawned on top of the tree, so I just put down the hardened clay that I brought with me, and that is kind of the temporary entrance to this area, I guess. I probably should have moved the portal, but then I was thinking, well, if you come in from these different areas, if you come in from a hill, you're probably going to see that, aren't you? And it definitely sticks out with like a sore thumb, which is a good thing. Anyway, we've got more that we need to do. I need to stop rambling. I'm going to pick up some of this stuff, take it back to the base, and I'll meet you over there. So the main thing I wanted to focus on this episode that's taken us some time to get around to doing is to build an entrance to this thing right here. For the longest time it's been pretty ugly, and I saw it in a couple of other people's videos. They'd come over here and be a little bit confused, because what we had before I started doing a little bit of work over here is we had this ladder that came up, and then there was just this gap alongside the entrance with the stairs, and you had to kind of hop up and on to get on top of them, which was a little bit silly. And it's time for us to build a proper entrance for this place. So what I've built so far is me just having a look at where the dimensions to this thing is going to go. I had a little bit of inspiration the other day and kind of pictured, I guess, what you would call a spiral staircase, but a kind of square shape going down. So we'd have like platforms where we turn the corner and then it goes down again. So this one's going to be nice and out in the open, and I kind of pictured all of it being out in the open, but this one over here really looks like it's going to be under the ground. So it looks like we're going to have a kind of mix of above and under, which I think would actually be really cool. So this is the dimensions for the platform I want to go with. It's a 3x3 area in the middle. There's a border around the outside for some blocks to go to kind of, you know, give it an aesthetic look and that kind of thing. And then we've got this border over here where we're not going to put stairs. I thought that was important to do that. So this thing goes down, we've got our little border, we've got the 3x3 area and our border again, and then it goes down again. So this is probably going to be all underground. I don't fancy doing a lot of terraforming. Same for this one as well. I'll probably just disguise the edge here, so we'll have 2 underground sections, and then it goes all the way down here, and this is where things get interesting because it's going to drop out for the next section right here. I think we have a little count, we've got the one gap here, we're going to have stairs 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually one block lower than that will be where our next gap is. So that's something that I can't really mark right now, but we'll need to do in a moment, and that's where our next platform is going to go. So if we go back up here and then drop down, we'll have a look at where that thing is going to come out, and we're okay because I've got feather falling. So it's going to be somewhere just around there. Now if we take a step back and just picture a platform right there, I think the next thing for it to do would not to be go round in the same way like is it spiraling downwards, which would be in towards this bit, but actually to go out to the right here, and then it can come out into this open space. We can have a big platform held up, you know, with logs, and it will look like a real nice structure, and then it can come down again. So now that we actually get over here, it looks like it's got a bit of a way to go. The next platform is going to start just there. That's going to be the edge, and then it's going to have a 3x3 area. I should have done this bit a moment ago. I was trying to get prepared. I guess there's only so much you can do. So that's the 3 wide bit. If we put another one there, that's the other part of the 3 wide, and then this is the bit before the stairs. So it's going to come down, and there we go. That's a lot better. I should have done all of that off camera really, but there you go. So we've got a platform up there, one over here and one down here, and then it's going to go down to the ground on this side, so we can lead a path to it from somewhere else. But that will be the main entrance right there. And what I'm picturing in my mind is something that uses a lot of wood, maybe some big support beams using the logs in the corners, and then some fence posts and other blocks to kind of give it a frame and some shape. Let's take care of this guy right here. But this is the way that it'll work. You know, we could have continued the spiral and turned off down to the left there, but I think it's going to be nicer to bring it out into the open underneath the overhang as well. So from a distance, that's probably going to look quite spectacular. And we got a little guy after us. These guys are hilarious. They can spawn in packs, by the way. I went into a cave, I think it was possibly in UHC or maybe just here on the server, and there was a whole group of them, like 5, and it was really crazy and bizarre. But there you go. So that's how it's going to work. Obviously this cobblestone is just to give us an idea of where it will actually sit, but I think this is going to look really impressive. And another thing that I wanted to mention as well, by the way, let's go up this way since we can, is at the top here I want to have a fast kind of entrance as well. This is the aesthetic entrance. It's going to look cool. We're going to have a fast and functional one on this side over here, but that's a project for another day. I was thinking when you walk out here, you know, sometimes you don't want to walk all the way around the stairs. You've got somewhere to go. So over here we might have a water drop and slime block elevator as well, but that, as I said, is a project for another day. So decision time is upon us. You may notice that these platforms are slightly different. I made some mistakes, so I've rebuilt them, and it means we're going to have an additional one over here, which is fine. That means a little bit more building, and I actually think it looks really cool like this. So anyway, let's talk about the materials that we can use for our base pillars. Oak, I think it's just been used so much in the past because obviously for the longest time it was one of the only wood materials that we had. Although that's going way back, that is. But whenever I see oak, you know, it just feels like a little bit too plain. So I'm kind of drawn towards the dark oak or the spruce. And normally with building, spruce looks a little bit better because it has a nice contrast about it. But the dark oak here is slightly softer, and this is going in a natural build. So for me, that is my main candidate. And then over here, we've also got the birch. I don't think we really need to talk about that. It's not really suited for this. And the jungle woods, I think jungle's a little underrated as a building material, but for this one right here it doesn't feel quite right. And then the acacia is probably going to be really good. However, there's some stone around here and I just felt like, the grey is a little too easy to work with. So what we're going to do is go with this dark oak as our main support beam, and then what I want to come up with is a kind of shape, a structure that supports the platforms on the top, which I've also got to build because we're not going to be keeping this cobblestone. Do you like baked bean stairs? This is what we've got right here. I'm using the baked bean wood as Cleo calls it. Do you know, I really love this colour, I really do. I'd be happy to use this, but I know that some people are really going to dislike it. It is a very bold and vivid colour, and I'm not too happy with how slow things are coming along. I like to build in creative mode, and this time we're just doing it all in survival. So I've been trying out a few different things, and I really like the top bit here. I just feel like the colour in the middle is something that needs to be worked on. But the way that we had these ones right here in the corner, I didn't like that at first, because you've got to keep it because you can see a little bit of it from down below. We're going to look at that in a moment. But then I put down this fence post accidentally. I put it in the wrong place, and it just matches up with the centre there ever so nicely, and then it just kind of ties that bit into the corner, which is really cool. I do like that. If we come down here, you can see that just around there, so that's why we can't move it, because it appears on the corners there. Then underneath here, I'm really not sure what's going on. I've tried a few different shapes and things, and at the moment it just isn't really coming together. I think I'm just going to stick at it, because when you get something that works, you can see it and you're like, okay, that bit works, I'm going to keep that. And that's what we've got with a couple of things. By the way, the fence posts on the outside, probably going to go with spruce. I did want to have a variety of colours, but it fits much nicer than the jungle wood. And I do like this colour, but I think it's just a little bit too much, so we'll probably stick with this one. So I've tried many things and I just keep coming back to this, and I really do like it, but I do feel like it wasn't originally what I was going for. I guess I would say I was going for something much lighter now that I think about it. In my mind I'd envisioned something that wouldn't be as dark, with all the dark oak. But I've built two of these things now. We've got a redstone lamp in the middle. I'm kind of happy with this shape. I played around with putting some half slabs on tops of these blocks, but it didn't really work. And I like how this is open here actually. I think that's really cool. And this is quite chunky now, this bit, because we've got stairs on the underside. But yes, it's made out of baked bean wood. I know a lot of you are not going to like that, but let's have a look at the bottom bit down here. I like the way the fence posts kind of hang off like that. I think that looks cool. Not quite what I was looking for, but again, we've got something, and a little bit of shape here from the spruce wood. I did play around with changing these bits here to spruce wood as well, but that didn't really work out. And so now I'm at this point where I'm thinking I would just like some feedback from you guys. I've spent quite a bit of time doing this, and you probably know I do struggle with the building a little bit, but this is coming along, so I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback. We can make some changes based on what you think would look good, so leave a comment if you've got any ideas for this thing right here. And in the next episode, what we'll be doing is working on this and making it look pretty and putting some nature and plants around it and all that kind of stuff as well. But that is it for this episode of Hermitcraft. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like, because it'll always be appreciated by me. I really do appreciate it when you guys give me all of that good support. So thank you very much, and I will catch you in the next episode. Bye bye.